Hi, thanks for joining me today. I have a guest that I definitely relate to. His publicist reached out to me and said, "Do you want to interview him?" And I thought, okay, let me look into him a little bit because when I first kind of gave a quick glance at his profile when I got it, I'm like, is he a fit for my show? Is he the right guy? And then as I read more and I looked him up online and did some research on him, he was a perfect guest for my show. He's a genuinely nice guy. He has a band, and his music has a very 80s vibe. And what I really like, so first, let me back up and say something that I really do appreciate is music from all different genres. I remember growing up, I loved rap music, but there's a Miami rap music that is different than any other rap music that most people that don't live in Miami probably are not super familiar with. Any of my friends that listen to this podcast know Two Live Crew and know the type of music from South Florida, Miami that we grew up with. Two Live Crew, yes, they were a national or international known group, but there were so many more artists other than Uncle Luke from Two Live Crew. And they were just nasty body songs that I still love. And I can still rap to these songs like I performed them myself. I know every word to them still because I listen to them over and over and over. And all of my friends can do the same thing, and they know all these songs. And anytime something comes up with Two Live Crew, whether it's on the radio or I don't know, they did something on MTV with MC Hammer at one point, like several years ago, and I think it's just amazing. One time I was in South Beach in a club, and they started playing a Two Live Crew song. And this is in like the mid '90s, and these clubs were not known for playing music like this. It was more house music and the '90s dance music, rave music, and all that. And they played it, and I was just so happy. I just felt so in my element for it. And my point of this is that I just like all types of music. I love country music 'cause love Dolly Parton, and I love Luke Combs, and I love jazz. I love, of course, the Britney Spears and Madonna and all that music. I like all types of music. Andrew's introduced me to Old Crow Medicine Show that I really like now. And if you look at my playlist on my Spotify account, it is like I've made these playlists and they're just so all over the place. And whenever I turned 50 years old, my friend Jen made me a 50th playlist with 50 songs that we, grew up with or that we've had some type of interaction with. So it had everything from Nirvana to I don't know everything. Two Live Crew, of course, and Madonna and Cyndi Lauper and just crazy. What is his name? Spring Love, come back to me. I can't think of his name. He was a guy that was a performer from God, his name is on the tip of my tongue, but all these old songs from, the late '80s into, more recent, she did this playlist for me and it was amazing. And I go to that every time I go to fly. I always end up when I'm falling asleep, I turn that on so I can kind of just like listen to music or listen to something like that. And it's amazing. And the point to all this, I'm going to round this back now, is that this artist has a very '80s vibe. And I just loved the way that he came off in the interview, how he's so genuinely nice. I think he's talented. You have to listen to some of his music. And I watched some of his videos, and I think he was a spectacular interview, and I think he's a great guy, and I hope you enjoy his interview as much as I enjoyed interviewing him. So thanks so much for listening. Enjoy it, and please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about CJ's interview. Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything in a Big Gate podcast. Today, I have a new artist that is new to me, and he is on the show. His name is CJ Shaman, and he is got a really unique style of music. So it's country meets rock. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a spiritual artist. I love it all. So welcome to the show, CJ.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Tell me how you describe your music. What type of music would you, if somebody says, what's your music? What do you tell them?
Wow. Well, that's a great question. I usually just say rock and roll because it all comes down to rock and roll. But definitely, I grew up in Arizona in the Southwest to parents who were very much into country Western music, and I lived on a little ranch farm type situation out in the country. And I grew up in a down home situation with around horses and goats and chickens and tons of dogs everywhere. A country boy barefoot playing out in the road. So I definitely am influenced by that. But when you're a teenager and you're going through those formative years of shaping and yourself and rebelling from your family and things like that, I got very much into the Doors. That was the first music outside of like what I came up on from my parents that really just like grabbed my attention and just like kind of stopped me dead in my tracks. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And from that day forward, I've just been a huge fan of Jim Morrison, the Doors. They've really shaped and driven a lot of the things that I'm into, and a lot of the things like, Jim Morrison's whole intellectual vibrancy and the things that he were into, like, caused me to look into those same things and look into spiritualism and shamanism and to look beyond the veil that we often just walking in life kind of mindlessly. I decided to stop and kind of peek behind the curtain. I wanted to see what was behind that. And he's definitely a big part of inspiring that. I got into Sublime when I was in high school a lot. Their music really touched me, just that energy of like, they're the same kind of thing. Just like, what is this? Who are these guys? I've never heard anything like this before. Just someone doing his own thing without any rules, without any guidelines, and people maybe along the way being like, oh, that's not how you do it. But if you just stick with it and do it, it is exactly how you do it. And that's how you change the game. And so I would say that the Doors, Sublime, Bob Marley, Johnny Cash, Dwight Yoakam, the hip hop artist Yellow Wolf, another guy, just plays by his own rules, doesn't follow any genres or trends or anything like that. He just does what he does and waits for everyone to figure it out and come along. And I would say that those artists right there are some of my biggest influences, biggest inspirations. I love 80s, like hair metal rock, Motley Crue, Poison, like Metallica. Judas Priest is one of my favorite bands. Like, we just lost Ozzy the other day.
I know, Black Sabbath. So sad.
But I'm really into the 70s. Like, I wish I kind of was riding back in the 70s sometimes. I love the freedom that it represented. Like, everyone outside, tan, long hair, at a concert in the back of a pickup truck, like having a beer at the lake with the dogs and the cool people everywhere just vibing. Like, I definitely grew up in the tail end of that. Like, I was a kid through the 80s and 90s, but had a lot of older siblings, older brothers and sisters, and they had a big influence on me. And so
life was much easier back then, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm rock and roll through and through, but I'm definitely from the country, and I definitely am an American. So it's country rock and roll. It's Johnny Cash is like, to me, the true American icon. You know what I mean? And so
yeah. And how are you kind of, whenever you're thinking about writing your music or performing your music, is there something that is an inspiration to you, or is it kind of just whatever happens in life? It could be anything.
Yeah, it's very spontaneous. I let my songwriting come spontaneously at the moment. Like, I write in several different ways. Sometimes a song will come to me, and like, I don't even play an instrument. I don't read music. I don't do any of that. But something will come to me, and I'll write it down, and I'll begin to sing it like exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And then I'll like record myself so I don't forget that. And I may change it up as I go, as I keep revising it. And then I'll keep that on video as like the reference so I don't forget it. And then if I have a songwriting partner who comes up with a riff or a lick or a melody to like, check this out, then I'll be like, hold on. And then it'll just kind of come to me and I write it down. I'm lucky, I guess, or that's how I do things. I'm very ADHD. I can't pay attention to anything. So I don't want to sit there and like construct a song And so
Yeah.
luckily they just kind of come to me very instantly, and I'm like, sweet, and moving on to the next one. And I like to work like that. So that's how they
Yeah, I
come.
think it's so interesting how people do their creative process, and so I think yours, you're just kinda going for it and just that's pretty
Yeah,
cool, so
most definitely.
I did a little research on you. So you describe yourself as rock outlaw. So tell me how you came up with that.
I mean, outliers, people that don't necessarily play by the rules, people that
Yeah,
might see the rules laid out and go, I don't know if that exactly works for me. I might have to break some of those.
yeah,
So I guess that makes me an outlaw. And then obviously, someone back in the day coined that outlaw country, like Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Willie
yeah,
Nelson, like Johnny Paycheck, like those Hank Williams Jr., those guys. It kind of like moved away from Nashville to be like, we're just going to do our own thing and be rowdy and write the songs and record them how we want them without someone trying to tell us how to do it. And so they kind of created that outlaw movement. And I like that title. But obviously, I mean, I grew up watching Western movies with my dad and older brother and grandpa, and just the cool outlaws, the man in
yeah,
black meeting the sheriff in the middle of the road at high noon to have a shootout. And I always loved that folklore and that mythology. So I've embodied that my whole life. I'm the type of person that if I see a cool movie and it inspires me, all in, especially as a child, like I used to be kind of known around school and things like that for like, he's kind of weird or whatever, because I would kind of play a part or
yeah,
act a part or be influenced, and not afraid to just be like, I'm trying to be this cool guy right now. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Elvis Presley, like I have to say, is the very first thing I was influenced by. My mom was a huge Elvis Presley fan. So that's the first time I ever was like, whatever he's doing, I kind of want to do that. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Did you grow up with vinyl? Like I did? Like I grew up in, I grew up in the 70s, 80s, mostly 80s. I grew up was when I grew up, but it's part of this end of the 70s, and we had record player, and my parents had all these great albums. Did you grow up with kind of vinyl instead of the what kids are now doing with digital and even
Oh,
CDs back
yeah.
in the day?
Absolutely. My parents had an epic vinyl collection,
Yeah,
everything from, Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and Barbara Mandrell,
I
Alabama,
know.
the Oak
Yeah,
Ridge Boys, Charlie Pride, like just a lot of old classic country. And then they had those real early Rolling Stones and Beatles records too. Like my family was kind of conservative and kind of, my parents are from the 60s, but kind of, when the whole hippie, like kind of, counterculture movement started, they kind
yeah,
of like, they were into the Stones and the Beatles before that happened. So,
yeah,
so I got to see that. But yeah, we had this epic cabinet just full of vinyl. Even as a kid, I would go in there and just look through every vinyl, look at the pictures, read all the
yeah.
cliff notes, and then we had the little kid stuff like the Bambi and the
Same,
Snow White and the
exactly.
Seven Dwarfs on
Yeah,
record and stuff like that. And we'd listen to that, Peter Pan, like all that cool stuff. I
yeah,
loved listening to records when I was a kid.
yeah. So did I. I wish I still had those records. Actually, the
Oh,
original
me
ones.
too, man.
So,
My daughter is actually, she's almost 17, but she's got an epic vinyl collection too. And I didn't push that on her or anything. She started that all on her own. So she's probably got over, 150 vinyls in her collection, everything ranging from modern stuff to super old school stuff. So she's actually a very big inspiration to me. Like her interests definitely inspire me, and she'll find things that remind me of like, you know what, even though I'm trying to be this guy, I have to remember to not take myself seriously. And there's such some fun goofy music from the 80s that's just like pure kind of just like, this is just fun. And I try to implement that into my style and my attitude as well, to remember that at the end of the day, music is also meant to bring joy and be fun. So not be so serious and so spiritual and serious, where this is like, oh, everybody be really serious. Like,
yeah,
no, because like have fun too. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
So you've got a track, Lucky Star, Queen of Hearts, Bring It On. How do those kind of resonate with you? How have you kind of how have those touched you, or how have those kind of influenced your music?
You reach back into the archives there a little bit. Yeah, those are some
Yeah,
older songs that I did. Yeah, those are songs that I wrote with a songwriting partner of mine named Tommy Kai, who lives out here in Vegas with me. And we would just sit on my couch with the acoustic guitar and just come up with stuff out of the blue and then take it into the studio. And this was a few years ago when times were a little tighter for me, and just had a few $100 at a time to go in and just make like some
yeah,
real simple demos, not a lot of production on them or anything, but was able to with those tracks that you just spoke of, get a distribution record deal with a cool futures up and coming record label called Bentley Records, run by CEO Dr. Luca Days, and he's
Awesome.
the only person in the music industry so far that's taken a chance on me and believed in me and given me a deal like that and distribute my music. And as they keep elevating what they're trying to do and be really innovative with what they're trying to do with revolutionizing the record industry, he's brought me along every step of the way. And even they're actually more of like a hip hop, like urban style label, but he really believes in me and wants me a part of the team and is offering me a lot of cool opportunities right now that I'm really proud of. And we just released a brand new album called Diablo de Ocho, The Devil of Eight, which I have a very cool, awesome state-of-the-art music video on YouTube that you can check out. And it's all on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Pandora, all those things. And this is by far the most epic record I've put out so far. And it's a very deep record. It's very tied to a lot of emotional loss. Like I lost a lot of friends, unfortunately, in the past couple of years, like ranging in different causes and different ages. So I was actually sort of in a lull creatively and kind of in a slump. And, the music business is a very hard business and it can chew you up and spit you out. And I was kind of in a spot where I had been chewed up and spit out, kind of laying there. And these friends of mine that passed away really shot this electricity through me to get back up, get back on my feet, be like, dude, you're alive. Your friends are dead, but you're alive and you got to do something. Get off your ass, quit feeling sorry for yourself and do something. And because of that, I dedicated the whole album to them. There's songs on there. One of my friends that passed I knew since we were like 10 years old. We had been in bands together before. We wrote songs together that never saw the light of day. So me and my producer took those and brought them to life and put them on this album. The title track, El Diablo, is actually named after my other friend who passed away, which that was his nickname, was El Diablo. So I wrote that song literally about him and named the album after him. And basically, for these guys who couldn't be here anymore and walk this earth, who inspired me and showed me such love while they were alive, I wanted to just really do something for them. And in turn, it turned into completely reinvigorating my spirit and my attitude and my will to realize that, hey, this is my purpose and this is what I'm going to do no matter what. And it's a long road and it's been a maze to try to navigate my way through it, but I can finally sort of see the sun rising and the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm really glad I never gave up. And a lot of it has to do with them. As sad and as tragic as it is that they passed, like that,
they inspired you.
Inspired me, you know what I mean? So
yeah, that's awesome.
Very grateful to them. Thank you.
And just for the listeners to know, in the description of either this podcast or if you're watching it in video, I will put a link to the video and to Spotify and to iTunes. I'll put a link so you can go and you can listen to and watch the video and see all of CJ's music. So,
all right, thank you.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the name, the shaman. How when I think of a shaman, my aunt wants to be a shaman, and she is very into energy and just healing, and she's a Reiki master, and she's,
Wow, God bless her.
Yeah. And so tell me about does the word shaman for you kind of mean something similar where it's spiritual and healing?
Absolutely. So I'm CJ, your friendly neighborhood music shaman. And so I grew up in a very spiritual, religious household. I grew up Mormon, Arizona, Nevada, California. Out here in the West Coast, there's a large Mormon population. I grew up Mormon, but as far as Mormons go, my parents weren't too super strict. They were pretty lenient. So I had a very normal, kind of upbringing, but a little bit strict and sheltered. But I'm a rebel, so I didn't let that stop me. You know what I mean? But I was grown into a family where we prayed every day, and we had lots of animals and lived on a farm. So if you know what that's like, a lot of animals are dying all the time. Very sad if you're a kid. And I remember, digging graves for animals. I remember seeing animals hurt, praying for them. I witnessed miracles as a child from praying for animals that shouldn't have lived, that lived. And so that gave me a strong connection to believe in God as an innocent child. Like my parents tell me there's a God up in the sky, and I pray to him and he's real, and I believe that. And obviously as a teenager and a young man in my 20s and 30s, I fell away from that, and I fell away from God, and looked like science and mainstream science and television and education tells you all these things that sort of contradict God
Yeah.
and creation. So me being like, hey, I'm a smart guy, I want to go with what's true. So even if I believe in God, if that's nonsense and isn't real, then I kind of want to know. So I delved down so many rabbit holes, the ancient alien stuff, like
Yeah.
trying to just find like, God can't be real because science says that we've been here for trillions of years and there's dinosaurs and outer space and the Big Bang Theory and all that. So God must not be real. So I definitely went through a period of time where I wasn't very into God. I was sort of trying to look for answers, and in looking for those answers, it led me right back to being like, holy shit, no, there is a God. And he saved my life on multiple occasions. I've done so many dumb things and stupid things and kind of, I guess, naughty or bad things where I actually needed God to come in and like save my ass. And he
Yeah.
did. And in return, I try to make it a point to repay him by giving him his props. And all of this is because of him. Like, he gave me these talents. He gave me like these looks. My parents are beautiful people. I try to present myself in a beautiful way to the public to be a hero. Like, I work out every day. I try to eat right because I want to show people that I am touched by God and that I'm a hero and I'm here for you and to spread light and joy, and I don't judge anybody. These are things that I've adapted over the years. Like, I used to take a lot of mushrooms and LSD and peyote and things like that when I was younger. So obviously that will remove the veil, take you to the spirit world,
Yeah.
take you to these other realms of seeing things that you don't normally see with your eyes. And then when you come back from that, you realize that when you're going to these places, they're kind of forbidden in this one way. So the fact that you're allowed to go there and come back, you kind of leave a little piece of you there. So as a we live in this day and age, like, where a lot of celebrities, the Joe Rogans, the Aaron Rodgers will talk about, going down into South America and doing all these ayahuasca trips and doing DMT and all those things. And I've done all that a long time ago. And I did need that. Like, I needed to be broken down
Did it
and
help
then
you though?
rebuilt.
Move your
It did.
Yeah.
It did, most definitely. But what I would say is, as I was ending my journey with those types of substances, the spirits of those worlds literally would be like, look, like, don't come back. You're not going to learn anything new. You're not going to see anything new. You have everything you need already in you right now. And just like believe in that and go with that. But don't come back here. You know what I mean? It's just going to keep taking from you. There's a point where it gives to you and then it starts to take back. And so once I got to that point, I stopped. And I would recommend that people find a way to connect with those things naturally because it's already in you. But sometimes, there's so much buried on top of you that those plant medicines really can have a profound effect on removing the layers so that you can get back to who you truly are.
Yeah, I haven't done it. I'm into trying it though because I've just read so much about it, and but it needs to be the right person that I would go to. I don't want to go into Peru and it's somebody I have no idea who they are, and I have a trust issue. Like, I need to go somewhere to do it where it's trustworthy in my heart.
Absolutely, that's very smart. And like I said, I don't want to promote it one way or the other to say it's a personal choice. Like, I'd be wrong to say, hey, don't do that stuff, because I did do that stuff and it did help me.
Yeah.
But what I would say is I don't do it anymore because I have all the tools that I need to like carry on my mission now.
Awesome. If you could pick a couple of people that you could do a collaboration with, who would kind of be your dream? People that are living though today. Yeah. Like, who's two people, bands, people that you would love to do a collaboration with in the future?
So I would love to collaborate with one of my all-time favorite singers and performers, which is Dwight Yoakam, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with his work, but he was really popular in the 80s and 90s, country star, but very rockabilly, very like an incredible artist. Like, he was nominated for a Golden Globe for his acting job in Sling Blade. He's just Mr. Cool, just like he puts on the hat, pulls it over his eyes, very mysterious, plays the guitar, and he's just got this honky-tonk rockabilly vibe that just has touched me ever since I was a child. And as a songwriter, I would love there's songs I've written specifically for him, where if I ever meet him, I'm like, dude, I wrote you these songs. These are for you,
Yeah.
like specifically that I wrote for you. That's one. And then also, like the guy I mentioned earlier, Yellow Wolf, like he's such a dynamic, unique artist and performer. Like I would love to collaborate on a track with him where we together, because he's hip hop, but he's very rock and roll, and he
Yeah.
can't, and he's very like, he's from Alabama, so he's got this down home southern, like swampy country rock, hip hop, like just cool vibe that is very unexplainable, but I really like it. And his energy, his confidence, I would just love to feed off of that and be in the same room with him and do a rockin' hip hop track with him, most definitely.
That's amazing. Would you do you have anything coming up? You have tours? Where are you playing live anywhere coming up that people should know about?
So I just did my debut performance as CJ Shaman. I've been in lots of bands in the past, toured around, done all sorts of things like
Yeah.
that. But as a solo artist, I just did my debut show a few weeks ago here in Vegas at the Sand Dollar to celebrate the release of my brand new album, El Diablo de Ocho, The Devil of Eight. And played with some guys from LA. And dude, we had a blast. It was awesome. Everyone who was there was just like blown away, like, holy shit, dude. And that's what I do. And I wouldn't do it if that's what I didn't do. So it was so exciting. Very grateful for the experience. And to put together a show independently is actually very difficult, and it's very
Yeah.
expensive. And so I'm right now just, I have a lot of things flooding in on me. And so I have a lot of choices to make right now. And as a solo artist, I can really jam with anybody. If you're a professional musician, I can go on stage with you and it'll be like we've been playing together for 10 years because that's what I do. So, but right now, I'm sort of in search of connecting all the dots in that way. I have a lot of things I'm doing in the studio right now, very busy, like creating new songs and collaborations in the studio as we speak that are a little bit top secret. So I have a lot of fun things
Good.
to unleash here in the next upcoming months. And then my label, even though my album's already out, my label has a very state of the art marketing rollout plan that's about to take place here in the next few days. It's really going to bring me a lot of exposure with my new single and my music video and all that. So I get the feeling that that's going to open up quite a few doors. But yeah, like I'm ready to take over the world and go on tour. And you know, my main goal since I was a child, like I grew up on watching Saturday Night Live, and to me,
Yep.
like the cherry on the sundae for me is when I step on the stage in New York at Saturday Night Live. That's what I
Yeah.
really want to do.
How awesome would that be? I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's
oh yeah.
yeah. Would you ever? So you're in Vegas from Arizona. Would you ever move to a New York or an LA if you had to for the right opportunity?
Oh yeah, totally. Like you know, I'm from the Southwest and I love the Southwest, but you know, I totally love to explore Nashville. Like I love LA. I go to LA all the time. I do most of my recording there, spend a lot of time there. Lived there when I was right out of high school, lived on Venice Beach, you know, trying to
Yeah.
walk in the footsteps of my idol Jim Morrison. So I moved to Venice Beach and lived there for about a year, then came back to Arizona. But dude, I've never been farther than Michigan. So I would
Oh, you
love to go
haven't.
to
You got
I'd
to go to
love
New
to go to
York.
New York. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah. You got to. It's a whole different world. It's nothing like you
Where are
couldn't.
you at right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Boston, but I
Oh,
lived in
you're in
New
Boston?
York.
Right on.
Yeah, I grew up in Miami. I've moved 18 places in the last
Oh, wow.
25 years. So, and then I was in New York for 7 years, left, came back for another 5 years, left. So I was just in New York a couple of weeks ago. So New York is definitely, I could never live there again. I can't live in that small of a space for that much money. So, I mean, you get
Yeah, I hear you. So are the pizza and the bagels really everything they're cracked up to be?
it's really that good. Yeah,
It
it
really is?
really is. Yeah.
Right on. Well,
And
man, I gotta get there and try it.
just the energy of the whole city. I think I mean, you're so creative and I feel like you just kind of take it all in. I think that it may be overwhelming, but I think your creativity would just go crazy there because there's so much happening. and just kind of
Agreed.
walking through the different Lower East Side is just so interesting, just that one neighborhood, and then you go to the West Village, it's a whole different vibe, and I think you would love, love, love New York, and there's so many great places, CBGB's unfortunately isn't around anymore, but there's so many great, like, clubs where you can go and see live music any night of the week and just kinda get inspired by that, and there's this
Like, yeah,
place called
right.
Author's Tavern, which is like a jazz place, small hole in the wall place. It's been there for ever, 40 plus years probably. And I love going there. And it's so small and it's so grungy, but every artist in there is just so, so amazing. And you want to just keep tipping them out the whole night because they're that good. Like everything they do is amazing. So
So if you're in Boston, you can kind of just hop on a train and get to New York City pretty
yeah,
easily, right?
it's like a
Right
three
on.
hour and a 40-minute train ride down. And it's like they have Wi-Fi. And before you know it, you're pulling right in the middle of Manhattan to Penn Station and it's easy. So
Like, yeah, well, when I head that way, I'm going to have to get some notes from you on the places I need to check out.
yeah, definitely. Boston's a great city too. It's not as it's a different. It's more low key than New York. I think New Yorkers are friendlier too, much more friendly than people from
Yeah,
Boston. So
I could see that.
yeah,
I had met a couple people from Boston back in the day, and I really enjoyed being around them. They were like stereotypical Bostonians for sure, but
yeah,
they really vibed with me and loved me. So that's all I needed. I love the accent, the whole thing. Like it's very
yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, Boston people are tough, but New York is just, I don't know. I feel like I can walk into a bar and any bar in New York, I'm like, hey, you want to do a shot? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then like you walk out and you're like best friends with them for like 10 years or something.
I
So
love that.
that's just how New Yorkers are. And I just love that about them. So
That's right. That
uh,
makes me happy.
I just want to ask, I think you're going to make something really, really big out of yourself. Like I feel like you've got a vibe about you and there's something I think that's going to be major that's getting ready to happen to you. I don't know why I have that vibe, but I have it. And I just ask
Well,
whenever
it's because you're a very intelligent man.
I ask whenever you do make it big, you come back on my show and tell me when you're kicking off your world tour and I can help you promote that then.
Oh, you can guarantee I'll do that. Thank you, sir. I promise.
So I'm going to put CJ's Instagram into the description of the podcast or video if you're listening. Also, he is with Bentley Records, and that is on Instagram as well. I'll put that in there. I'll put a link to his video and all his music into Instagram. He's on Spotify, iTunes. We'll put his YouTube video in there. So check him out. Leave us a message and tell us what he's think. His new song, again, that just came out on July 8th is called El Diablo de Ocho. And he's a very talented guy. And like I said, you got a really awesome vibe. And I'm so glad I got to interview you.
Well, thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. You're very lovely, and you're welcome to have me on your show anytime, and I really appreciate it. It was really fun talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me. And everybody be sure to listen and go and see CJ. If you ever see him in Vegas, a show, or wherever, go see him and follow him on Instagram. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Leave a comment and be sure to subscribe. Thanks.